Forney Transportation Update Introduction and Funding Sources.
Mr. Zook and his team have put a tremendous amount of work into helping organize our streets, trying to get the information out to our residents so everybody understands where things are, where we need to have patience, where we can move forward, what can go on a bond.
Wait a minute. Patience? That's the first I've heard that word come out of your mouth when talking about roads. What happened to this?
We have broken relationships with TXDOT. There's a lot of things that haven't been progressing as fast as they could because we haven't had the right elected officials meeting face to face with the people that can really make a difference.
Imagine that. The game's a lot different on the court than it is on the bench now, isn't it?
Imagine that.
He's done a very comprehensive presentation coming up, and I would love for you guys to share it with everybody that you know, because I think it'll help really inform the residents of where we are.
It is true. Carl's presentation is very informative on, and it covers various points, not only where certain roads are in the construction process, but how TXDOT and various entities have gotten there, what it takes to get there, and the various funding sources for constructing roads and all that good stuff. So keep watching. The whole video and the whole series is going to be very informative, and I think everyone really should watch it.
The hope of the presentation is to focus on about three major areas. One is, what are our resources? What funding mechanisms do we have available to us? What projects are out there? And what is the process to help move those projects along, so that as much as we can in a few minutes, try and consolidate and put in perspective and bring clarity to what we're dealing with right now from, with the county, with the state, with the council of governments and ourselves, what we probably try and do to get these roads improved, but to help people understand what we're dealing with and what the processes are. So the objectives, we'll talk about funding opportunities, what the TXDOT bond project process is, and what are the established projects, mainly focusing on the Kaufman County bond projects and then some potential city projects. So looking at the funding opportunities, these aren't all of them, but these are the majority of the ones that we're either dealing with right now or could possibly deal with. So the Kaufman County bonds, we've had two in the last 8 years, 2013 and 2019, have passed. There's a monthly report that comes out that gives us updates on these. If you don't get copied on this, we can arrange for that. It comes from the county. We have our city roadway impact fee that is currently under an update. We try and update this about every 5 or 6 years. This is a fund that development provides to, and it has to be used on specific roads that are used to make up that fee, and that report can be made available to you as well. And we will be having some updates, I think, at the next P&Z or soon upcoming council meetings to show you where we're at on that process.
Keep this point in mind. A lot of people like to badmouth development, and in times like we have right now where we have traffic in Forney. But development is what helps improve roads. They are the trigger, and they also provide the funding for it here, at least for the city budget. That includes the impact fees like Carl's talking about here. It also includes property taxes, and they also trigger help from the EDC on a lot of occasions to help build infrastructure.
We have our capital improvement program. Some roads have been built since I've been here on that.
But wait. Sarah Salgado said no roads have been improved or built in the past 14 years, and Carl's only been here for a couple of years. Silly politicians.
That's just an opportunity that we can use towards, if we agree on a project, put it in the capital program and use funds to build that. A city bond is another opportunity. We're currently meeting regularly. We had our meeting just last week. We did take a little bit of a break on it, but we're looking at a wide range of projects, but some of those are roadway projects. And so what we can do there is have an election hopefully in May, and there'll be specific projects on there, and that'll give us a funding source for those.
Carl covers some of the potential bond projects for roads here later on, and I find this subject very interesting because keep in mind the bond's going to likely increase our tax rate, which means we're going to be paying extra taxes to pay for the roads that they are looking at to add to the bond project. And I just find the roads that they are looking at very interesting, but I'll comment on that later on.
The Federal Infrastructure Act, that's, of course, in negotiations in Washington right now, but should that get passed, that is a funding mechanism that we could use through a similar type process that the bonds are, that COG would have to distribute those dollars, but the processes that we're doing in the bonds would be essential to capitalize on those funds. A tax increment reinvestment zone, TERS, that's currently what built the Gateway area, the Gateway Boulevard, the bridge, is a funding source that a developer uses, but it helps get us some transportation in the area.
This is another developer-city partnership that brought infrastructure to the City of Forney that we would not be able to pay for otherwise. That includes Gateway, the Gateway Bridge, the Reeder Road realignment, and they're also adding on to Reeder to connect to Windmill Farms now. This is also all done within the last 14 years.
Developer participation agreement, that's what we've used recently for 212 with the Stillwater development.
Stillwater Development is a developer back there in the Gateway industrial area. They have helped fund the 212 improvement that's going on right now, as well as them and other developers back in that area have helped fund the Akron Way Road and such.
And then Texas Local Government Code grants, it's like a 380 agreement that is actually an action item on tonight's agenda to help fund a road around the Ridgecrest extension.
And this is a developer partnership with the EDC, where the EDC will provide a portion of the funding to help extend Ridgecrest over to Reeder in the development that's going to go right next to Steve Silver on the north side of town.
Stay tuned for the next video that will cover the process behind TXDOT road construction. For more videos like these, subscribe to the State of Forney on YouTube and like and share the State of Forney on Facebook.